Welcome back to another episode of Red Hawk Media. Today we're taking a look at Jessica Alba. Alright, I'm just kidding. What we are doing though is we are doing some makeup. And with our makeup here, what we're going to do is we are going to give her a makeover. And give you an idea of some options of what this may end up looking like here. We're just going to do makeup and hair today. So let's talk makeup first. Here's an example of an adjustment layer that was put on her. Kind of crazy. This would be like a Vogue kind of presentation if I finished up the other eye here with the pink eyeshadow. We're going to bronze her up a bit, darken her up a bit, and we're going to give her green hair. Okay, so question is, how did we do this without losing the texture of her hair, without losing the texture of her skin? That is going to be the question here. So let's take a look at how that works. Let's click off that layer. We're going to create a new layer that's going to sit over the top of the Jessica Alba picture, which is provided for you. And create a new layer. There we go. All right, with our new layer, let's go ahead and get zoomed in here. Okay, and moving this over, work on some eyeshadow first. That's kind of a good place to start. We're going to start with the paintbrush tool. Let's find a color that's going to be suitable. She had that pink shirt on, so any shade of pink here I think is going to work really well. And we'll go with that. Now, for the time being, we're going to leave the opacity and the flow of the brush at 100%. This is on a different layer, so we don't have to worry about blending it perfectly with these two features right now. Just know that they are available. To give you an idea of what they look like, here it is with 100% opacity, and here it is without that. Let's go to 50. You can see that's a little bit lighter, and we'll drop it down even more. Okay. And you can see that it's just barely painting over that. Okay. Now, once this is painted on, however, we only have a little bit of control over it. And you can see when you paint, see every time I click, it just gets darker and darker and darker. And that makes it difficult to kind of blend in there. So I'm going to leave the opacity at 100%. And let's go back. Hopefully I got enough. There we go. Boom. All right, so put the opacity up to 100%, keep the flow at 100%, and here we go. I'm going to go ahead and paint this on over the top here, like so. And we're going to keep this off for eyebrows, and her eyelashes are dark enough where they're going to show through. Let's shrink the brush size down. All I'm using is the bracket for that, the left bracket. I'm going to bring that in here, make that a little bit bigger now. Let's bring this all the way over. You can kind of see where her makeup already is, so you can follow those lines a little bit, and we can always remove a little bit of this if we need to. And I'm going to paint right in here so we get all of that area too. Okay, right up into the eyebrows here, and nice clean line. Boom. All right, and here's what we've got. Now, it doesn't look realistic in the least. So we're going to have to fix this. Over in your layer, you've got a number of different layer modes. Right now it's on normal. We're going to take the layer mode and we're going to switch it up here. One of them that would work really well for this is called soft light. So let's go ahead and take a look at that. There we go. Now that lightens it up quite a bit. Now if I need it to be lighter than that, even more so, I can take the opacity of the layer, and now I can dial that down too, so I can make my adjustment here. Now there are some light and dark spots here, so what I can do is I can grab the smudge tool. We're going to grab the smudge tool, and we're going to, on this layer, we're going to bring this in a little bit. And we're going to bring that in a little bit off of her eyelashes, and just a pinch off of the really dark spot there, and just a pinch off of. And these are really minute adjustments here. All I'm doing is kind of dragging this layer in a little bit. And I can kind of shape the makeup a little bit so that it fits in there perfectly. Okay, so let's go ahead and zoom out. There we go. I would want to paint down a little bit further in here to kind of even that out. You get the idea though. Okay, so again, it's the paintbrush tool. It's the mode. switching up to soft light. You can play around with different modes. They'll give you different looks. For instance, overlay is another one that works pretty well. You'll get a little bit darker feature, and wherever it's overlaying darker parts, like the top of her eye here, kind of like right in that area where her eyelid and the eyeshadow kind of meet, that's a lot darker. That's what an overlay will do. Nice thing is it keeps all the texture though, and I always have the option of taking the opacity and adjusting that too. So if I like the color a little bit better, actually that doesn't look too bad. It's really subtle right there, and there we go. So we kind of drop that in there and matches her shirt. Oh, we're like fashionistas here. Outstanding. So that's eyeshadow. Now for the hair. This is what we had put on for the hair originally, and you can do this a number of different ways. You can go through and you can select her hair and then refine your selection. That would be one option. I just found going in and painting over the top of it was the best. So let's go ahead and grab different color. Let's go with more of like a purple this time. There we go. And we've got a new layer that we've created for her hair. Everything goes on a new layer. You don't want to mix the makeup layer and the hair layer, just in case you want to do different modes or different intensities. If we want to switch it up right away to soft light for the mode, so we can see what this looks like, and then I can go ahead and I can start painting over the top here. Let's get our paintbrush. There we go. All right, and let's get the brush size up so this doesn't take forever. And now, very carefully, we come in and we're changing her hair color. Okay. Now, the beauty of the brush being up 100% opacity is I can go ahead and just kind of fill this in and make sure I get everything covered equally. There we go. We'll get the general areas first. I gotta be careful up on the edges there because that starts to blend in with the white background there, and that's going to cause problems. So, yeah, getting the idea here. Okay, now I'd shrink down the brush size, of course, using the bracket tool, and then go ahead and get in here and clean up all these areas around the outsides, all the little flyaway hairs, all of that, just to sell the effect, to make it look like her hair was actually this color. Okay, this is a really quick way to change hair color. Wow, that's looking pretty good. All right, and the same thing applies here. If I think that's a little too dark, since it's on its own layer, I can take the opacity down and I can make it more subtle. So now it's more like a highlight. So her hair is almost auburn in color. Okay, you get the idea. All right, excellent. Well, thanks for joining us for another episode of Red Hawk Media. Next time we'll be taking a look at whitening teeth and some skin correction and some minor things like that, so that, I don't know, should you choose to like do up your senior pictures or something, or family portraits, you've got these for some options of things that you can work with. But thanks again for joining us. Bye.